Sheffield Wednesday supporters stayed away from Hillsborough last night. Middlesbrough visited the place. Middlesbrough fans pretty much outnumbered Sheffield Wednesday fans. Of course, this is a football club, Sheffield Wednesday, where the owner, Dejphon Chansiri, has had major obstacles, mainly put in his way by himself in terms of not being able to pay players, staff, umpteen people at the club, many people going unpaid for weeks on end. And it's now got to crisis stage. Sheffield Wednesday, bottom of the table. Post-match, Henrik Pedersen, the head coach, didn't really know where it was going to go.
It's painful because I know how many people who want to be here understand and respect all the people. And just looking forward that we can all come together again in the future.
Do you see a sign of that in the near future?
I don't know. There is other people who know more about this than me.
I mean, this was, if you can call it such a thing, a proper boycott.
Yeah.
They stayed away because they're fed up with Chansiri still being there, and in the perception is this huge mismanagement at the very top of their football club. This is now getting serious. Not that it wasn't before, but it's serious now for Chansiri.
Well, it has been serious for him for some time. You know,
Do you think it registers with him?
Well, I get the impression it's beginning to register with him a little bit more based upon some of the conversations that I'm a tad privy to. Look, I mean, there's a balance between can he or won't he. I get the impression that he can't fund the football club anymore. And so then it becomes about what does that look like in terms of how do you find an exit? Having been in a similar situation, the challenge for him is he has no goodwill from the Sheffield Wednesday fan base. Goodwill doesn't last very long anyway, but he has no goodwill from the Sheffield Wednesday fan base. There's a general intemperance and intolerance towards him, and he's brought some of that upon himself. I understand some of his reactions to situations where he's gotten most offended and gone right back at the fans and told them what he thinks of it, but you can't win that game. You're not going to win that game. You can be bold if you want to. You've got enough currency in the bank to be a little bit bold with fans, and I don't think he's got any.
I don't think he's got anything in the bank.
Well, no, but, you know, whatever you think of him, he has spent a lot of money on the football club.
Simon,
and
it's a mess.
It is a mess.
And he's taken them to that.
It is a mess, and people run out of money. And tragically, when it comes to a football club, it's so glaring. And sometimes it's unpredicted, it's unwanted, it's not what you did tell that you were ever going to get involved in football for, but it's happened. Like lots of businesses happened. You know, if somebody was living in a house and they couldn't meet their payments on a house, they wouldn't appreciate everyone from the bank staff standing outside their house screaming abuse at them, would they? They'd be like, hang on a second, I'm doing my best to pay my mortgage. There's an element of that, but I also understand he took on a responsibility, having been in that situation myself. The thing is that, is it a case of he doesn't want to sell because he can't quite get the offer that he anticipates he wants, or he doesn't want to sell because no one's there to buy it? If he's going to give it to somebody, then someone will come along and take it. My feeling is that part of this might end up in administration, and that might help the IFR, the Independent Financial Regulator, because how's he going to take over this football club? I would guess if there's a requirement to run this football club, it probably needs about 10 bar. It makes 10 million quid to run it for the rest of the season. Who's going to pay that? So the only way to do that potentially is to stick it into administration, squeeze some of the creditors out, which is horrible to hear, but it's a commercial reality, and find a buyer that's prepared to fund the administration rather than sit there suggesting the independent regulator is going to come in and fund it, because they ain't.
Because it's not moving in any direction.
Well, you know, it may well be. And the big thing is to move, I think, Chansiri into a space where he recognises the threat of the regulator, which is you can't sit here and just, you know, cry at the sea to go back. There is a possibility that the regulator has got the lever and the leverage to take it off you.
Chansiri must know that by now, surely.
Well, you'll be surprised what people do and don't know. And we listen to people all the time coming on this show or in the media talking off the top of their head about things that they do and don't know. And you actually look into it, you find out they don't know what they're talking about at all. And that's actually people that are supposed to be in positions of influence. So I'm not sure he does know. I think he's beginning to realise that there's jeopardy to his position of maybe sitting there waiting for somebody. Now, you've got a football club. Where's the stadium? Who's got the stadium? Because he's hived that out. What are you buying? Because if you haven't got the stadium in the equation, because that needs to be reunited with the football club, what is it you're buying? If you're buying a football club that doesn't own its stadium, there's not going to be many people that will rock up for that, put their hand up the parapet for that particular one. Now, that doesn't mean that I think that Sheffield Wednesday are in mortal jeopardy of going out of business. But there is some existential stuff in terms of the division that you're in. Because if you keep on cutting off the revenue streams, you'll force Chansiri up, but you'll force yourself into administration. And it may well be the path anyway. It may well be that the petitions to wind up are coming from the HMRC around unpaid HMRC bills. That may well be the course of action that comes. And then ultimately, I don't think Chansiri's got debentures in there, so I think all the money he's got is going to be written off. And so there is a point of view that says that it's easier to deal with the seller right now, to get him into a position that is to find a buyer.
John Texter said there were 3 or 4 interested parties, are there?
Yeah, well, you know, I don't. How can John speak to what the 3 or 4 interested parties
What do
are?
you know? You've got a bit of knowledge, a tad of knowledge.
I think
due to conversations you've had.
I think
So
there'll be
come on.
solutions, but I think they're difficult. Sheffield Wednesday, I believe, in the same way that I believe Reading will come through it, but there's going to be some collateral. The fans are, in no uncertain terms, making their views very, very clear, and they're not prepared to go inside a football stadium and give them one scintilla of their money. Now, it's interesting to see. I wonder what the percentage of penetration for season tickets against casuals are, because if they've got a very high season ticket revenue and a very low casual gate, then they've got all the money anyway. They've had all the money from tickets.
Yeah, they've got a home game on Saturday against Oxford. Unless he makes a move, nothing's going to change, isn't it? Well, unless Chansiri does something that he's not doing at the moment,
well, some other bugger might.
Nothing's going to change.
If the HMRC go and get a petition to wind up,
because it's not an attractive purchase, as you said, for a variety of reasons.
Well, yeah, there's got to be, but you can pull it all together. I mean, ultimately, the person that's going to have to take a pill is him. And to get that football club sold, it might be that someone takes it off him for nothing, takes on the ongoing debts. But this is a great football club with a great set of opportunities, and it could be a great football club. It's worth a punt, Sheffield Wednesday. It's
really, it's the sort of club you'd love to have.
It's worth
got involved
punt.
with.
You could build this football club in the same way that Ipswich have built theirs, and you could put it in the Premier League, and you'd get 6 times earnings if you're an investor. There is an opportunity here. There is an opportunity, but it means being involved in it. It's like the various factions that potentially are orbiting around me are suggesting certain conversations. I don't know if I'd want to go and run another football club for 4 or 5 years in terms of turning it into an opportunity to get back in the Premier League. But if someone got hold of it, knows what they're doing, it wouldn't really take much. Hard work, but then so should it be. But it wouldn't take that much money to be able to build Sheffield Wednesday into a club that goes into the Premier League, and then you can flip it and make some money.